Welcome back everyone to the Go Genius Guide series. This is video 6 and today we'll be playing against 2Qs. To obliterate 2Qs and rise into the Dan level fast, aka reaching black belt level in Go, you have to have all the foundation and fundamentals under your belt. You must know how to make good shapes, how to handle your stones, and here is the beginning of middle game depths. So in this video, I'm going to do the same thing as the previous videos in the Go Genius Guide series. I'm going to play different openings in every single game. So the first game, I'm going to play very simple openings and simple joseki, like approaching, getting my corner, whatnot. In the next few games, I'm going to go into different starting points, maybe a 2-3-4, some 3-3s, or even a 5-3 point. Now, here, very typical opening and joseki mistake. This is not theory. White has to extend over here. White extend over here, black hane and connect, and this is basic joseki. Now white hanes over here, and here is when you punish your opponent for not following the joseki. White has a weakness, so I'm going to descend, threaten the connection to the stone. Now white blocks, and here I can cut. Actually punishing this joseki and this joseki overplay, I taught it in my double digit Q to single digit Q course, and that is coming out soon. At the time of this video, the course hasn't been out yet, but it is almost complete. So now after this situation, this variation, immediately the position is good for black. This used to be white's corner, and since white didn't play the correct joseki, this has become black's corner and I got sente. So when you're in a winning position as early on as here, what you can do is you can just play safely and secure a win. So at the 2Q level, all the players at 2Q, they are playing very solid Go. They are playing a lot more aggressively, they are playing more solidly, and they know all the foundations. Their shape is really good, and it is all about the minor fine tune and making your stones have more efficiency and more efficient than your opponent's stones. And it's all about your moves being more efficient than your opponent's moves. So now over here, this is a typical joseki and typical follow-up. White reapproaches here, which is a slightly more aggressive move. You can just kick and give your stones a direction to jump towards the center. White approaches over here, trying to reduce his territory at the same time invading. And here, by using a kick, I've safely secured my corner. And here I'm going to do another 2-space jump, or 2-space extension, and keep building territory on the side of the board. White bumps over here, no need to worry. These white stones are weak, my black stones are very strong, so I can use a hane. If white cuts, I'm going to fight. White goes back, what do you see in this position? Black has a cutting point, save it. Build a strong and very solid shape. When your shape is strong and solid, there is no weakness and your opponent cannot attack your stones very easily. This jump gives my shape a direction and also reinforces the RG inside the corner. Attach basic fighting principles, hane. White does a wedge or tiger's mouth. Here I can either connect or connect over here. Here I can either block or connect over here. But I'm going to choose to block because I want to get rid of the RG in the corner. White plays here, what's the best shape in this position? It's a cutting point. If we connect, not the most efficient. So to play the most efficient move, use a descent. Descent, and still it is better for the endgame, and it protects your cutting point. This descent and connection, the difference is a few points. This one move difference is already a few points. And if you play, let's say, okay, 5 or 10 of that, that's 20 to 30 points. Just in the game, you just got 20 to 30 points in the game. Right, 2-space extension or 2-space jumping out, it actually gives my stones a direction toward the center and I'm building thickness and territory around here. White blocks, and here I can use a descent. This descent is really, really big because it's threatening to do a 1-space jump into white's corner. This is the endgame sente for black. Okay, white lost 2 points, white should have blocked. White can use a solid block, it's not a big issue. White goes over here, and now it's time to judge this position. This group is settled, this corner is settled, this part is settled, this part is settled. So here, when the opening is finished, it is a very good idea to estimate the game. This is what you guys should do in the game. Estimate the game when the opening is over. So let's do a quick count. White has about 20, 30, about 40 points over here. 50, 55, 60 points. Black has 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75 points. So in this position, I'm at least winning by 15 to 20 points on the board. Okay, this is a misclick from White, obviously. White's not going to play here at a 2Q level. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to play this move and give White the chance to go back. Alright, White didn't go back, and here I can push in one more time. So in this position on the board, yeah, I'm already winning by 15 to 20 points. And here I can just go into the endgame and finish off the game by securing my territory and playing a peaceful endgame. This jump, 2-space jump toward the center, converts this sickness into territory. White goes over here, I can extend. Can White double Hane? The answer is no, because I can cut and extend. Simple 3 to 4 move calculation. 3 to 4 move calculation is super important at this level. You must be able to calculate 3 to 4 moves. And actually at this level, 2 Qs to 1 Dan, I teach my students and I tell them to try to calculate 7 to 8 moves, preparing for climbing the Dan ranks and climbing a higher level. This one's pretty good shape, but I can keep bumping over here and reducing White's territory. White goes here, okay, Hane, weaken the stone. See, very simple shapes. Simple shapes by using nothing fancy like attaching or invading, nothing fancy. I've already built a gigantic sickness, gigantic wall, and I've already converted the center into my territory. All of these are using Sente. All of these are using foundational shapes. Now I'm going to close off the door, convert all of that sickness into territory by using this move, the 2-space jump. What's White trying to do? Trying to threaten and go into my territory, block it off. Very simple stuff. White goes here, okay, White's also trying to build this territory, so we can just use a Hane, because this cut doesn't work. If White cuts, we can Atari and drive White stones into our sick wall. White goes over here, see we got the head of 2 stones, we can use double Hane. Because we are threatening this cut and capture the 2 White stones, we can use a double Hane. If White Atari is over here, and here you can consider, okay, whether to capture these 2 stones or save this 1 black stone. The answer is pretty similar. I'm actually going to save this 1 stone instead to get Sente. Okay, White pushes over here, and here I can actually just capture these 2 White stones. So Atari and capture these 2 White stones. One might Atari and go out, but it's not a big deal. Black stones over here is already very thick and very solid. I'm going to turn over here, threatening to connect. White's probably going to go here, or Atari. Okay, pretty good. This turn, I'm building more sickness towards the center. And later on, I can use this move, this nice move, if I have the time, to convert the center into my territory even more. Atari. And here we'll use a tiger's mouse. The shape is much better. You see in this game, there is literally 0 weaknesses for black. In my shape, there's 0 weaknesses. For White, it's also 0 weaknesses, but black stones and black's shape is much more efficient. For example, this descent, much more efficient than connecting. White could have handled this area better, and White over here should have used a 3-space extension. Okay, White goes over here, kind of a Sente, there's a little bit of endgame, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to use a ninth move. This is a much bigger endgame. And I'm going to go back, save this 1 black stone. And here if I do, okay, this move, very good, pretty big. It is threatening this Hane, this very big endgame move. But here I can play the next biggest endgame move, which is Hane over here or Hane over here. Second line endgame, basic foundation and fundamental endgame techniques. Later on, this Hane is a Sente. Okay, this is another Sente. This one is very inaccurate. If White wants to reinforce, why should you use a 1-space jump? There's no more Sente move. This is not Sente anymore. And actually in this position, there's actually no arching here. I could not do anything. Yeah, if White just calculated 4 to 5 moves ahead in this position, White would have got a free move elsewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and play the next biggest point. Okay, and white resigned the game. So this game, very peaceful. Very peaceful game, no fighting. It's just both of us building territory. And in the end, yeah, black is winning like 40 points on the board. And after combing, yeah, about 34 points. Let's continue. I'm going to play a 3-star formation. Or, yeah, I'm going to play 3-star formation. Next game, if I'm the black pieces, I'll play the Chinese opening. 3-star formation, this game is more focused on building a moyo. Building a giant center, influence, and territory. So I'm going to show you guys, even at 2Q, almost at Dan level players, playing a moyo game and converting your sickness into territory and building a gigantic influence, it is not scary at all. This move is actually a mistake. I should have pushed and cut, but here I'm going to block over here. The reason is I want to cover on top and completely seal white in. Yeah, cover on top like this, sealing white in, and I'm building the moyo towards the center. This Joseki, whatever white does, whether it's the normal Joseki or even going up here, the idea is the same. The idea is to seal white in and cover white on the inside, so I can build territory, influence, and sickness towards the center. Now, with this a 3-star formation and playing a moyo game, I want to make sure my stones are on the 4th line or above. I don't want to go on the 3rd line using like a knight's move or like a kick and knight's move. I don't want that. I want to make sure my stones are on the 4th line at the very least, so that it can help me build influence for later on. This is the main idea and the main principles and strategy for playing a moyo game. So white goes over here on the 4th line, which is really, really good. And here I'm going to approach this corner. If white uses a basic Joseki, I'm going to jump like this to build a gigantic framework. Okay, very good. White plays over here, and here I'm going to use this diagonal move. This diagonal move is actually the top choice from the AI, and this diagonal move or extension is actually very, very similar, maybe 1 point difference. Basically, it's the same thing, securing this cutting point, strengthening this cutting point, and then pushing out onto the 5th, 6th, and 7th line, and I'm building a moyo towards the center. Now, this is very good, following the Joseki. Connect, white should connect. Yeah, if white can also connect over here, is no worries. White connects over here, same thing. Follow my plan. Push up and create a very big framework. So I gotta say, this 2Q actually is playing extremely well in this position. Very, very well played. There's no issues, except for this move, this tiger's mouth, a little bit slow in my books. I would have played a large nice move and extend a little bit further. Okay, white is desperate. White invades into my moyo. But white forgot one basic principle and one fundamental shape. 3 stones. I can hit the head of 3 stones. By hitting the head of 3 stones, white forgot about this. Hitting the head of 3 stones, it gives my stones even more direction. It cancels white's influence around here, and it gives me more sickness towards the center. This move is sente. This exchange extremely beneficial for black. Now I can try to attack this one white stone. I'm going to go over here. If I block over here and build this moyo like around here, white can keep jumping into my territory. So I'm going to build my moyo and build my territory whilst I am attacking white. Oh, very well played. Okay. Wow. It's really starting something complicated. Very good. So over here, I need to decide whether to push this stone on to the left side or push this stone to the right side. I'm actually going to push this stone to the right side just because the left side has a bit more space on the left side. Wow. Actually, wow. Cut. I have 2 weaknesses. I'm going to strengthen the weakest stone. This stone, strengthen it. Basic fighting principles and fighting foundation. Cross cut, first thing you do and the first thing you should consider is to extend. Now white Atari, this is very obvious, no need to calculate. Atari just extends. White has a weakness, probably white's going to save it. And I'm going to cover white on top. And here you got to calculate a few more things for white. If white push up, what do you do? If white push up, I'm going to cut. Okay, white really did push up. White push up, I'm going to cut. And then try to connect all my territory on this on the side of the board. The reason I'm not scared for white to Atari and go down and split my territory is because these white stones are still going to be very weak. They still need to run towards the center, and I can keep attacking the weakness while building this area of my territory. Very good, very well played, very good shape. And here, what is the basic shape for for black? And here, what is the basic shape for black? White attaches to this stone. This stone is weak. Descend, strengthen it. Strengthen this stone, take away white space. Very basic principles. If I don't play this move, white gets this tiger's mouth. White is pretty much alive. Okay, white harness over here. Now look at this position. White has a cutting point. Can we cut? The answer is absolutely yes. Black stones over here are extremely strong. Black stones over here are also extremely strong. Now with two strengths, I don't need to worry about life and death. So I can go ahead and cut. Now with this one cut, both of these white stones are weak. And with a simple extension, these 4 white stones are completely captured. Now white does an Atari, I have to connect. And white's probably going to play this move. This looks like the right shape. Okay, this is also pretty good. I have to say, this invasion from white actually invaded really, really well. White sacrificed these stones to eliminate my influence and my potential to make territory in the center of the board. Here I'm going to extend, strengthen my stones, and give my stones a direction toward the center, and seal white in on the inside. If I cut over here now, my 2 stones would have been very weak, and white can use a hane and double hane, and that's going to be a bit uncomfortable. Okay, white plays over here, again, very well played, very, very good shape. Here I can try to eliminate white's eye space by going over here. Large nice move from this stone, 2 space jump from this stone. This stone enters into white's territory and white's eye space, and pretty much gets rid of white's eye space. It's going to be really difficult for white to actually make any eyes over here. Okay, attach pretty good, but here, calculate. This is the beginning of a local fight. Can you extend and keep breaking white's eye space? The answer is yes. White cannot play here because black can push, white goes here, black can cut with a double Atari. So I'm going to go in with an extension, completely decimate and annihilate the eye shape and the stones. This move, I've completely decimated and destroyed the eye space and even destroyed white's shape. Now, with all of these stones, my stones are crawled into white's territory. And with a double Atari and capture, white's eye space is really destroyed. Although white can get these 2 moves out here, but it's okay. If white plays here, I'm going to squeeze out the eye on the outside. This is fighting. This is core fighting. And this is how you should capture when you have strength. When you have strength, you can go hard. You go and attack very brutally to get rid of their eye space, seal their stones in, and don't let your opponent make any eyes or make any territory. Oh, very good. White's actually playing really, really well in this position. This extension out here gives these stones a direction, but here I'm going to first seal white in from this side. If white keeps jumping out, I'm going to seal white in again. This move, oh, this is actually a really good move. This move actually makes an eye over here, and here, this shape, white actually made this group alive. This group is pretty much alive. This is a sente, this is one eye, and if white gets the Atari, this is another eye. So I'm going to use a nice move over here, trying to pressure against this eye. Oh wow, actually white cuts. Really, really well played. I'm going to extend. White's probably going to extend. I'm going to jump out. Now it looks like the tables have turned. It looks like white is getting the upper hand of the fight, and white is counter-attacking me. This move, okay, weakening the stone. Basic foundation. Retreat. Strengthen my stones, and still I'm threatening this eye over here. You see, this move over here, it is a sente. If I get this move, I can then cut white. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. If white cuts this stone, doesn't matter, and I'm going to cut off the entire white's tail. And this move also gets rid of this eye over here. Now this is a fake eye. And this move, threatening the cutting point, but here I'm going to think outside the box and play outside the box. I'm going to use a one space jump. White is trying to threaten the weakness and go out. But here, this is a counter attack. It counters this move. This jump, if white cuts, I can extend and connect all my stones together. Now white is fully sealed in. Okay, really, really well played. White is manufacturing and threatening all of my weaknesses, this cutting point. But here, capturing this dragon is much more important and much bigger in value. So I'm going to connect all of my stones together and strengthen everything. White cuts, no worries. This is the cutting point. I'm going to connect it and save and connect all my stones together. White will get these 4 stones and attack these 4 stones. But here, the entire dragon in the center has been captured. And in this position, black is really, really ahead in territory. This center dragon, if we just use this center dragon, just to use simple multiplication, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to here, that's already like 56 points, plus about 10 over here. Yes, like 65 points, and 75, 85. This group has over 90 points. And there's no way white has 90 points on the board. So this game is pretty much over. Even if I sacrifice these 4 stones over here, maybe I lose about 20 points. But getting this entire dragon in the center, and now the entire center territory is mine, is much, much better. But I have to say, my opponent actually handled this game actually pretty well. Here, white could have actually played better in the center and probably made this group alive. So yeah, after this game, I'm going to review what white can do in the center and actually make the group alive. I do have to say this cut was probably a little bit too much because white should have just gone out in this direction and saved the stones together. White should have just gone out in this direction. Okay, white is going to cut me off with the next move, I'm pretty sure. Play here, okay, not bad. Hane, I mean wedge. Wedge and connect. And even if white cuts, look at the liberties. Count the liberties. There's no way white has enough liberties to capture the black group. And I even got good news for you guys. And I've got better news. The better news is there's still RG in these 4 stones. I can use a Hane. This stone is currently not safe. I can capture it. And after I capture this one white stone, this group is not dead. This group is still co-fight. White's gonna Atari. If I connect in this position, if you connect, then you are dead. If I connect, I'm dead. So here, again, basic foundation, life and death. Making a ko. And having a ko in this position is very beneficial for black because it means I get to have 2 moves elsewhere on the board. If white answers to my move, I'm going to capture the ko and try to live. If white wants to capture my group over here, I get 2 moves elsewhere on the board. This is how you get a free moving go. If you find the RG, you make a ko. You basically turn a dead group into half a life, and by using a ko, you basically get a free move on the elsewhere on the board. Alright, this game, yeah, it's pretty much over in this position. And white's going to recapture the ko, and anything on the board is a valuable ko threat. I even have like a dozen ko threats in the corner over here, such as this cut, threatening to capture this stone. I have a gazillion ko threats in the corner. This corner is like a mini ko threat factory. This side is still like a ko threat factory. I can just invade and jump out. If white doesn't let me jump out, I can create like a gazillion ko threats around here. And here there's like a few ko threats as well. This peep, the center group, there's a lot of weakness, so there's a lot of co-threats as well. Oh, this is a very nice move. This move got to be very, very careful. If you're not careful, white can actually wedge, and these two keystones will get captured. So I'm going to wedge over here. This cut works because these two white stones cannot go in here. It will be a snapback. And I'm going to keep fighting the coat. Finish off the local co-threats. Yeah, white still has like a few co-threats in the center, but it's not a big deal. This co is like picnic co for black. For those of you who are still around 2Q or around the 2Q rank, everything still matters. You have to improve on every aspect of your game. 2Q doesn't mean you have, 5 dan fighting instincts or like 5 dan level opening or endgame. You don't have that yet. There's still heaps of room to improve in all aspects of Go. Opening, middle game, fighting, invasion, defending, converting influence into territory, and endgame. All of these aspects in Go still has to be improved in order for you to keep rising and rise into the Dan ranks. It does sound a lot. It does sound like a lot. But when I give you this one key thing to follow, you will understand and improve much quicker. Everything in Go is shape and efficiency mixed with a little bit of direction. Now, this doesn't really matter. If white connects here, I can just cut or capture the two white stones, and I'm just going to win this coat. Direction of play is very, very important as you rise into the Dan ranks. In the Dan ranks, it is all about fine-tuning. What makes a 1 Dan lose 30 to 40 points against a 5 Dan? It is a minor shape inefficiencies from the opening to the middle game to the end game. That's how 30 to 40 points can go gets taken. So at 2Q, although if you are around 2Q or low single digit Q, your Go is quite strong. You can join tournaments and you can probably beat 90% of people at clubs. But to reach the higher level and to reach the mastery, you need to keep improving on every aspect of your game. So this game, my opponent resigned. This game, black is already winning by like about 40 points on the board. So let's quickly review this game. So my opponent, here, white actually played really, really well. I feel like my opponent here is actually stronger than a 2Q, probably like 1Q or 1 Dan strength. This invasion was okay, but white should have extended here first. Extend here first. If I go here, white can then invade like over here later. This honey is way too good for black. It just cripples white's shape. White's shape has to go down over here, and my stone has a direction to reduce white's potential on the bottom side. If white extended over here, this bottom side is white's influence and white's potential. So capping over here, not letting white go out, white attach, very, very good, creating things complicated and invading. This attachment actually weakens the stone, finding the weakness, and no matter which side of Hane, white can go out and white can go out on the other side. So yeah, here was, maybe white can handle this a bit better. Capture, yes, white should definitely use a Atari. This Atari is a definite center. I'm not going to fight the code because at the start of the game there's no code threats. But over here, this descent is very, very crucial. It fixes your shape and actually it destroys white's shape. This honey was a little bit too much. Cut, extend, but this extension was really, really good. Capture these 4 white stones, white sacrifice. That was a very nice sacrifice. Here I can even cut over here and just capture this 1 white stone. But instead I chose to extend over here. If I cut over here, white can actually Atari and Hane, double Hane, weaken these 2 stones and hit the head of 2 stones. And the position will get a bit uncomfortable for black. And white has a direction to jump towards the center. So over here, after this move, white should just keep going out like this, extending over here and jumping towards the side of the board, building a base and trying to threaten the edge, like the side of the board. If white can go towards the side on the third line, then it's much easier for white to make some ice. So this sequence was really good, well played by my opponent. This one was okay. This extension was pretty good. This one was also really good. This card was a little bit too much. This card after I extend and white goes here. With black jumping here, black has pretty much sealed white in. So what white should have done in this position is white should just use a one space jump like this. Since I don't have this one stone, if white jumps here, I can't really play like this, because white can then attach and threaten a lot of weaknesses. So if white goes here, now I have to connect and white can jump towards the center. This is a much better result for white. And yeah, this is center. This one, yeah, after this move, yeah, white is pretty much captured. In a higher level game, if it was an even game against maybe 5 to 7 dans, if white plays this move, I'm actually going to connect over here and try to capture this entire dragon. Yeah, the reason is if white tries to connect the stones together, I can just attach and cut white off. But after this dragon is captured, the game was pretty much over. Okay, this game I have the white pieces. I'm going to play a 3-4 Komoku and another 3-4. I'm going to play 2 Komokus. White approach, base. I'm going to use a basic Joseki. White goes back. White basic Joseki. Black's going to extend. Yeah, basic Joseki, and I'm going to approach this 3-4 point. Okay, black chooses the basic Joseki. Yeah, either here or here. Here, large nice move, and this corner is settled. The other turn is passed to black. Let's see what black would do. Is black going to approach, enclose the corner, or play on the side, or very normal or pretty even moves. Over here, I'm going to approach this corner. Kick, good, basic Joseki. This is actually a very good kick because black already has a stone here, so kicking over here would build black's territory here. Very good. This move completely gets rid of the RG in the corner, and it's also threatening to go into my territory later on. Blocking over, I can block over here, or I can just Tennoki. So here I'm actually going to Tennoki. Yeah, because blocking over here, I feel like black is going to approach my territory. This move, inaccuracy, and actually drawing the line between inaccuracy and a mistake. The reason is, look at that, there's only 3 spaces apart. You shouldn't be playing on the 3rd line. You should at least play on the 5th line to complete your territory. Or a better, more efficient move is to jump, 1 space jump. It's much better than playing on the 3rd line like this. Yes, you made your territory, but this move is way too slow. Compared to like white getting this move and this move is way too slow. This is what I mean by strong Q players, like drawing the line, blurring the line between strong Q and down level players. A down level player would not play like this and play something like this instead. So by playing like this, this move, black wasted about half a move, which wasted about maybe 5 or 6 points. Black plays here, threatening to enter white's territory. I'm going to play here and completely cover off my territory. Now white's territory and white's framework is much bigger than black's territory. But anyways, the game is still very close and still at the early stages. I'm not sure what black would do in the middle game. Maybe black can make a comeback. So black cuts over here. Here, basic fighting. Calculate 5 to 6 moves. If you connect over here, black is gonna Atari and Atari and go out. Not very good. If white Atari here, same thing, black and Atari connect, go out, and try to build a base around here. So now we've established this is a weak stone. This is a weakness. So I can choose to extend over here or extend over here. Both of these are possible. This Atari is probably also alright, probably also possible. But in this position, my thinking process is I want to convert, I want to claim and build the left side of the territory. I want this territory to be mine. The follow-up for black should just Atari and do a tiger's mouth. I Atari, and black gets to go in and split apart white's territory. Now this clearly is an overplay. I'm going to descend and block. black jumps, but too bad, black will not be able to go back. Simple calculations. This cut will capture these stones. If black goes here, I can even do a one space jump or a diagonal move and cut apart black's ability to connect together. Connect, okay, big mistake. Hane. Now these 5 black stones has no direction to jump and connect to the strong stones over here, and black is actually going to get captured. This move is a sente, I agree. I'm going to block, but when you calculate 3 to 4 moves ahead, 4 to 5 moves ahead, you'll see what black is not going to live. Even if black has this move in sente, black is still not going to live. It is a classical double-digit Q, 3-point life and death. So everyone watching this video should know about this life and death. Alright, black extend, threatening to go into my territory and go into my corner, so I'm going to block black off. Yeah, this is a good time for black to cut the losses and play elsewhere. And here's the other thing about single-digit Q. When you invade and you die, don't keep playing. Don't give more stones to your opponent for free and build their sickness. When you die in a fight, cut your loss, move on, play elsewhere on the board. This is how you get stronger. If you keep playing over here like some lower Q players, the more you die, you might just sacrifice 1 or 2 moves. You might play a move that has no meaning and your opponent doesn't need to respond. So what my opponent did was really good, playing elsewhere, building the center territory. Very well played. Here I was playing a little bit passive with these 2 moves, and yeah, over here there's no threat for white, and I'm going to keep enter and reduce black's territory towards the center. If this territory is like already black's, there's no way for me to invade. Okay, over here, basic shapes. Kosumi. How do you weaken a Kosumi? You can squeeze out the Kosumi. If I block, black is going to wedge and then cut apart this one white stone. So I'm going to wedge and squeeze the Kosumi's weakness. This is a basic shape weakness from black. Black has to connect, and after I block over here, all my stones are connected. So this is like a little tesuji and a little way to weaken the Kosumi, the diagonal move. Yeah, white still needs another move, because if black still needs another move, yeah, pretty good. Okay, Atari, and I'm going to Atari over here, using the basic Ataris and give my stones a direction. Now that my stone's over here, and I played here in Sente, I'm going to use the Tiger's Mouth. Save my cutting point, also threatening to attack this group. Black plays here, threatening the cutting point, connect. Simple fighting. Black goes here. Alrighty. This position over here, okay, I'm going to play the endgame. This is actually a pretty big endgame, because I'm threatening to do a 1 space jump. This shape over here on the side, black actually still has RG in the corner. I can peep, attach, and maybe even attach over here. There's a lot of RG. But for the sake of playing against 2 Qs, I'm not playing down level players. I'm not going to exploit the RG. I'm just going to play on the outside, convert some sickness, reduce black's territory, and try to build a bit more territory towards the center. This one is actually, yeah, kind of sente. Okay, play here. And this one's also a very big sente. Yeah, here actually black can block. Right. Yeah, black can actually block because black can capture the ko with an Atari on this stone. But anyway, black didn't do that, it's okay. And black connects. And here, everybody, this is the endgame. So the endgame, as you all know, is about squeezing the last few points on the board. This center is still open, that's why I played a large knight move towards the center. I'm trying to claim the empty territory and convert it into my own territory. Now this diagonal move is very big. If black gets this move, black is going to jump into my my territory. So, and when I get this move, I get to threaten to jump into black's territory. So this diagonal move is actually 6 points in sente. Here I'm going to exchange this peep, just for the sake of this move being sente. This peep being sente later on. So this peep and connect, this exchange doesn't lose any points, but just for later on, I can peep over here, and this is going to be pretty comfortable. It's going to be a nice little thing. This 2 space jump, I'm completely covering and sealing off my own territory. Now the center part, now in the center over here, I built about at least 15 points in the center with these 2 moves, converting my thickness into cold, solid territory. Our black blocks over here are actually really good because I have a push and cut. This is something I maybe should have played early on as well, but it's okay. I played these 2 moves. I built this part of the territory. This attachment, okay, black is scared that I can hane and cut black off, which is really fair. But this extension becomes a sente simply because I can go here in the sente and I can push black and cut black apart. So black answered and answered pretty good. This turn very weak. So although I got the 2 sente moves over here, you got to remember to come back to your weakness. This turn is weak. I'm going to come back and strengthen it. Using a knobby, using an extension, connect all my stones together and build territory in the center. Okay, good. Hane, okay, threatening the double Atari, obviously has to connect over here. And now this is actually a really good move because this turn in Hane, it got rid of this peep, this little weakness. So now this peep doesn't even work anymore. This was really good as well. It seals off this direction and it actually builds a bit of territory towards the center. Very well played. And these 2 moves are pretty big center moves. And after that, I'm going to block over here because black can still do a large monkey jump and reduce my territory towards over here. Alright, black play here and I'm going to go in and reduce black's territory towards the center. Yeah, this move, sente, because black can cut over here and all my 7 stones will die. So I'm going to save it in the most efficient way possible. This move actually saves the cutting point because I get 1 more liberty and reduce another point over here for black. Reduces black's territory by 1 point. So I've got to say, this game, my opponent actually played extremely well. Apart from the fight over here where black could have definitely handled the fight a lot better. But other than that, the game was really well played. And if I quickly use the score estimator, yeah, white is winning by over 50 points on the boards, including Komi, over 50 points. This move is sente because black is threatening the push and cut, so I'm going to block over here and do a bamboo joint. Yeah, and this game is pretty much over in this position. Okay, time to review this game. Everything up to here was all pretty good for my opponent, except for this move. This move, if it was an actual 2Q going to down level, black should definitely jump like this. There's no way for white to invade. If I invade over here, just block and block. White can't do anything. Like, white literally can't do anything. White cannot live. This is like, it's actually basic fighting. After this key point and the vital point being played, white is all dead. This is just one of the variations. So if black actually jumped over here, this will be much better than the actual game. Yeah, this one's way too slow. This is good. And honey over here, this sequence also a bit happy for white. Black should have played over here the AI invented invasion idea and the invasion Joseki. White plays over here, and this is one of the variations. Yeah, so this will be like one of the variations. Black can go out. Black destroyed this part of white's territory. And here, if I go something like this, black can probably attach and try to go out, or black can even tenuki. So after this one, and then black play this one, this is also possible scenario. And this is much better. There's a helping stone over here. And after this attachment, this stone and 1 will really help a lot in this invasion. In the actual game, black tried to be a Dan player. And then his Q player instincts kicked in and got scared to fight. So white got a really happy amount of territory on the top side of the boards. This one, yeah, it's okay. But after this, black here missed a very big opportunity. Black could have Atari'd and then Tiger's Mouth. If white goes over here, black can connect. And white has a weak stone. If white goes here, black can cut white's territory apart and black has successfully reduced white's territory. If white goes over here, black can Atari go down. Look at this. Basic fighting principles. If I cut over here, then black can just simply Atari over here and then capture my 2 stones. So I cannot cut, white can go over here, and then black can connect. And look at that. Black, again, destroyed and reduced white's territory and split white's territory apart. This was black's opportunity. But in the actual game, black thought he could cut and connect and crawl on the second line. Of course not. Of course I don't let black do that. So in this position, I go over here, and after this Hane, all of these black stones are dead. What black should have done in this position, black should have at least tried to save it by like maybe going over here, although it's still gonna die, but maybe even at least do a 1-space jump. You can't save it, cut the losses even earlier. If you calculate like 5-6 moves that white can Hane over here, then just cut the losses earlier. The earlier you cut your losses, the less loss you will take, right? Very common sense. White goes over here. This is what I'll do if this actually happened. But black got this 1-space jump. Black actually even reduced this part of the territory, and then black can extend over here. And actually in this position, black can properly attach over here and create some troubles. So anyways, this is much better than the actual game. If this happened, later on black can still do a nice move and attack these 2 white stones. Okay, let's keep going. Again, I have the white pieces. Here, I'm going to play some 3-3 points. This game. See what black does. Okay, black play here. I'm going to play a 3-3 and a 3-4. So here, the last few games, I played very simple Joseon keys. This game, I'm going to use a pincer. And change things up, spice things up a little bit. Attach, okay, Hane over here. What's the right sequence? Is it Atari or is it extend? Oh, okay. This is not good. You should not descend on second line. You should definitely Hane out like this. Because after white gets this, I feel like unless this sequence is new theory invented by AI, after white gets this Hane, white's position looks pretty superior. This extension, super comfortable. And then I get to extend over here. There's no cutting point, there's no cut, because black will get captured in the ladder. So I'm going to extend over here, and black has no territory. And, okay, here I can connect, or I can push and diagonal move. I'm actually going to connect, because connecting, black is still not alive, and I can keep attacking black later on. So here I'm going to push. This is actually a pretty aggressive move, getting rid of my base and try to attack my stones. But here I'm going to attack you first. I'm going to attack black first. And then I'm going to save my weakness. Yeah, I play target mouse here because if black gets this diagonal move, I have to connect. Black has a Kosumi, and white's shape is just destroyed. Alright, black plays over here. Okay, Hane, obviously black cannot cut. It's very simple, 3 to 4 move calculations. I'm going to extend, and now black, and now white stones has a direction. White has influence towards the right side of the board. And, okay, black's played pretty well, attacking my stones over here, and here I'm going to use a 1-space jump. There's no push and cut. See, calculate 3 to 4 moves. There's no push and cut because I can block down here. And after this, my stone is on the 4th line. I get to pressure white, I get to pressure black and press black onto the 3rd line, and while I extend on the 4th line. That's the meaning of this 1-space jump. Just calculate like 4 to 5 moves ahead. There's no cut. Just go ahead and play it. Now exchanging the 3rd line to 4th line influence, the player who gets the 4th line is always beneficial. So in this position, yeah, white is much more beneficial when white is in a much better position than black. Black still needs one more move to connect all his stones together, but I've built a gigantic wall. The Great Wall of Influence and the Great Wall of Moyo. What's black going to do? Maybe resign. So here, when you have 3 pushes, when black pushes 3 times, black should just use a 1-space jump instead of keep pushing on the 3rd line. So here I can extend once more, and now this is a position where I don't need to extend. This one I bump into black, and here I can play somewhere else and probably even attack these black stones. So I'm going to play a knight move. I'm going to attack these black stones. I let black run towards the center. Look at that. I'm driving black into my wall. Look at that sequence. Knight move, knight move. Pressuring black into my wall, not forcefully, but very naturally. naturally pressure against black, and I get to build a gigantic wall on the right side of the board. This is a very smart move. It is threatening this cutting point, so I'm going to connect, and I have to connect. Very good, very smart move. Nice move, goes away. Now, here I exchange this push. The reason is, after this exchange, I'm going to use once again, boom, one more nice move. 4 nice moves in a row. And then Hane. With these 4 nice moves, little by little, move by move, I seal black into my strength, and then at the end, close the door and cover black off, cut black off. Okay, black plays over here. I'm going to extend, calculate 3 to 4 moves. Can black push and cut? No, the answer is a big, chubby, fat no. Because, okay, the best way, where do you cut? Do you cut here or cut here? The answer is cut over here. This cut creates more weakness, and after connecting here, my white stones are very strong. I can still attach over here and cut black off. If black plays here, it looks like it's going to enter into a capturing race. But I've already decided I'm going to Atari and live over here. I'm going to create life. Oh shoot, am I dead? Oh, actually I'm dead. I just died. Holy moly, I just died. Oopsies. It's a big capturing race. Actually, I'm actually dying. Oh, but it's okay. I can play this. This is a big sente. The squeeze is sente and I can attach. This is a sente. Black must respond. This is a sente. Yeah, so all these moves are reducing black's liberties. I'm not sure. I might not die. I might be okay. Push, reduce black's liberties a bit more. Over here, yeah, nothing. I don't need to worry about anything. And here, keep reducing black's eye space. And then connect. In this position, this capturing race, there's a cut over here, but I can just Atari on the second line and crawl out. This capturing race, actually, it is a Seki. I just realized it's a Seki. I'm not dead. Okay, I'm not cooked. It's a Seki because there's so many mutual liberties, and we both have 1 eye each. Now, this move pretty big, saves the corner, but I'm going to, because I have a gigantic wall on the outside, I'm going to extend and build territory in a very efficient and very fast way. So I think I definitely messed up over here. I definitely messed up the fight over here. I think black, instead of playing this move, this Hane, if black actually played a move around here and made another eye, I would have been dead. But actually in this position, if I'm actually dead and I cover the entire outside, the game is still playable because my thickness and wall on the outside is just too grand. So now it is a Seki. The game is very favorable for white. This is like, again, a simple attacking basics and attacking strategy. I'm building territory and building influence while attacking and pressuring these weak stones. Now this is a big mistake. This is a gigantic mistake. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't weaken any of my weakness. It is not sente, and black failed to save these black stones. So what I have to say is, at the start of the game, and including this fighting over here, the way black actually handled these stones, black played like a pretty solid damn player. And if I died, if this dragon died, and if I died, I would have basically played like a Q player. But in reality, yeah, black could have handled here a lot better. And running out like this, yeah, the game is pretty much over in this position. Yes, in this position, the game is pretty much over. Yeah, black definitely need to keep running out and give this stones a direction. Yeah, this move it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just Atari and go over here. You gotta make sure these 2 stones cannot die because these are key stones. And black's not threatening anything. The only threat black has is his cut. So I'm going to play Tiger's Mouth and save this weakness. Invade, okay, but I have so much thickness, I can try to capture everything. Bump, weaken this stone, but I'm going to strengthen it. Jump out, cut apart black's ability to connect. And this jump cuts apart 3 stones to these 3 stones. And I've got good news for you. I'm not going to let black save any one of them. I'm going to capture the entire group. every single black stone in my territory. You don't get to invade my territory without dying. That's my principle. My territory is my territory. If you invade my territory, you gotta prepare to fight. If you bump over here, I'm gonna extend. And yeah, pretty much white black is just dead in this position. Yeah, I can't believe I almost died over here. I actually can't believe I almost died. Yeah, this entire dragon. If I died over here, it would be actually very, very embarrassing. Especially losing against 2Q. Yeah, this is game over. So black has one more Byoyomi left, and yeah, this is pretty much game over. Yeah, so let's review this game. Actually, over here, when I cut black off, so here, my mistake was I should have just attached like this. I should have just attached and like give up, and then just capture this entire black group. Yeah, that would be a lot cleaner. This is actually fully dead. There's a black groups. The black group over here is fully dead. Yeah, I should have just said goodbye to this entire group instead of trying to get a bit greedy and take the bottom side of the territory. So in the actual game, after I played here, this was a really good move. I had to connect here because that was my weakness. Yeah, black can actually live over here. Black can play here, attach, trying to go out. I would have, if I go here, black just lives. Very simple, very basic. Black just lives like this. This is one eye over here, another eye over here. So if black actually attached over here, in the actual game, if black really did attach over here, I will probably extend like this. Black connects, and then I squeeze and attach. I capture these 6 black stones. Black gets to go out. I get to build the territory. This would be... Yeah, this will still be happier for white. White's still in a better position, but this is definitely better than the actual game for black. Or actually, black... I don't think black can fully live here without like dying a group. I don't think... I actually want to look at it. Black probably can't fully live. If black plays over here, I can still squeeze like this. If black goes out, I can squeeze. And then attach and connect and cut black off. Yeah, it's really, really messy. Yeah, it's a very, very messy fight. But I won't die very easily. Like, I definitely won't die very easily. But it would be a lot messier than, like, just having a Seki. Yeah, having a Seki was okay, but it's very beneficial for white, since white got a gigantic thickness and gigantic wall on the outside.
Start to play.
Okay, we have the black pieces, and I'm going to play the Chinese opening. As we said. So we've done a Moyo game, we've done basics, we've done 3 threes, we've done 2 komokus, and here we're going to play a Chinese opening. So apparently, like, according to AI, an AI theory for Chinese opening is attach here first and then attach over here. So attach these 2 black stones. Actually pretty crazy stuff. So with the Chinese opening, if white uses the approach, I'm obviously going to kick. I don't give white any eye space. I force white to jump toward the center, and I can press and pressure these groups later on. Okay, this... Wow. Invading on the other side immediately. Okay, I'm going to secure both corners, and I'm going to use this 1 stone to fight your 2 groups. Okay, I'm going to use a diagonal move this way. I'm going to put pressure on these stones to strengthen myself, and then attack this 1 stone. Okay, jump. Look at that. Basic shapes. Fundamental basic shapes that are running away. Weakness. Push and cut weakness. How do you save it? You can save it with a jump, or you can save it with a connection. I'm going to use a connection because it's more solid at putting pressure on these stones. Extend 1 more. I can still turn and do a nice move. Okay, pretty good. And here I'm going to turn. Completely seal, try to seal white in. Hane. And I'm going to extend. Okay, white's going to extend, and I'm going to push 1 more. Extend, very good. I'm going to use a nice move. Now with this nice move, I completely sealed white in on the inside. This descent is pretty big, because this descent helps the life and death around the corner. And this move is no longer sente. My corner is fixed, is safe, it is alive. And I'm not going to care if white jumps out over here. If white jumps out over here, it's nothing. It's too small. So I'm going to go ahead, attack this group. This is my idea of playing the Chinese opening. Get a profit from attacking. Actually, white's shape is really, really good. Very good shape. Okay, nice move. Again, using a nice move to pressure against white's stones and pressure white's shape. White push, okay, pretty good. Threatening to Hane and capture these 2 black stones. This is the most solid way at defending. Attach. So here you gotta calculate. Here, Atari, go out, doesn't work. So this wedge doesn't work because black can... This wedge doesn't work because white can Atari and go out. So I'm going to Hane. You see, like at 2 Qs at fighting is actually pretty solid. It's actually very solid fighting. Okay, I'm gonna push one more. These 2 moves on the outside actually cripples white's shape, and it gives black the strength and potential for influence toward the center later on. Now I place it over here. Can I cut? The answer is yes. Because white's Atari push and cut, and cutting over here, it doesn't really matter because my stones have more liberties. So when I have more liberties, I can go ahead and cut and play more aggressively. But the only worry I have in this position is my corner. If my opponent knows some ways to fight the corner can get a little bit ugly. But this move is definitely a sente because now it's really threatening like Atari and going out. But first I'm going to Atari the keystones first. This move basically reduces white's liberties and give white a really bad shape. And I'm going to connect over here. The reason I don't extend because both of these moves does the same meaning, but connecting over here reduces my cutting point, eliminates my weakness, so that when I have less weakness, I can build strength toward the center later on. A very, very good move. Wow. What a brilliant move. This move threatens to go into 3-3, and after white gets to 3-3, this cutting point becomes a big issue. Wow. This guy, some of his moves looks like a Dan player moves, but here is where the Dan mask got ripped off his face, and he gone back into being a 2Q. Because for one brief moment, he was playing very strong and like a Dan player, but he forgot the most basic thing, forgetting the life and death status of this group. Yeah, this move is pretty good, but I can just use Tiger's Mouse. You're not gonna live. I'm not alive. It will be a 1-eye and 1-eye capturing race. It will likely be a Seki. Yeah, white's probably gonna play over here. And how do you kill this? If white lives over here, then black's in trouble. Then I'm in trouble. Because my stones don't have 2 eyes. My group don't have 2 eyes. So I have to capture and try to reduce the eye space here. And because I have so many liberties on the outside, actually the good news is this white group is actually dead. Yeah, this move's pretty good, pretty solid. Attaching over here, basic life and death theory. Yeah, white can make a ko, but it's not a big deal. Oh, white should have made a ko actually. White definitely should have made a ko. If I made a ko, white at least would have got some free moves elsewhere on the board and like utilize these kind of ko threats. This move does absolutely nothing. White has only 3 liberties. 1, 2, 3 until black is alive. And black has way more than 3 liberties on the outside. So all the way until... Are you serious? Fine, okay, sure, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the sente. I'll make you feel a little bit happy. Up to this move, it was all very good until white blundered this. This is a gigantic blunder. So in the actual game, yeah, black is winning by over 40 points on the board just by capturing these 2 groups. So the right sequence, what white should have done, I've got to say what white played around here was absolutely brilliant. Brilliantly handled his stones and played really good shapes. So what happened over here was after this cut and going over here, this one is okay, but what white should have done, okay, so this one's actually okay. What white should have done here is white should make life first. Make life before attacking. You're not even alive, so why are you attacking? You just committed suicide, right? Like, you gotta save your stones first before you fight. If this group dies, you just can't fight anymore. Like, yes, okay, yeah, black can play this move and try to capture these four white stones, but white can play a move on the outside, sacrifice these four white stones, and get like some profit on the side of the board. Maybe something like this. This position is still beneficial for black because black's corner is very, very big, but the game can still go on and the game is still quite long. Between the 2Q and 1 Dan. This is a range where players often plateau. And in order to overcome this barrier and this wall, you must start thinking like a Dan. At this level, any move you play that is lazy, without thinking, have zero meaning or very inefficient, you will get punished. When your moves get punished, it might mean you wasted a move. You wasted half a move. Your opponent gets to play elsewhere for a free move. In the game of Go, in the opening, one free move equals to 12 points. So, you can imagine, if you waste 3 moves in a game, that's over 30 points you've wasted. At this level, another thing, if you don't have a teacher or have a coach, it is the best time for you to really utilize AI. Utilize AI. Review your games. Don't play around AI and look at every single possible moves. That is unnecessary. Review the whole game. Find the 4 to 5 moves or 4 to 5 places where you lost the most points and take notes from there. If you have a coach, that is a lot better. When you have a coach, make sure they can do the same thing and they can analyze your game and show you and break down the places where you are stuck in a way that is easily understandable for you. That's where real coaches come in at this rank. If coaches come in, one of my students, I'm going to tell you a story. I will tell you a story. One of my students started learning with me at 2Q on Fox. And my student was in a plateau, not being able to overcome the 2Q barrier. And starting with 4 months with me, my student rose to 2 Dan on Fox. From 2Q to 2 Dan, and my student only plays 3 to 5 games a week. This is a level where feedback and improving your own games, looking into yourself really matters. This is how you get to Dan level. You can imagine martial arts. To become a black belt, you cannot just play and train fundamentals all the time. You've got to spar. And during the spar, after the sparring, you're going to lose. And only through losses, you can review your mindset. What were you thinking? The places you play lazy and the places you didn't think, and the moves you can improve so that your next game can get better, you can get stronger, and you can play a much better game overall. At 2Q, shape is everything. Building good shape from opening, middle game to end game will help you not only save your stones, but make your moves very efficient and your stones have meaning. Most 2Qs on Fox have played pretty good shape, have very good opening foundation, middle game and end game foundation, but to become a Dan level, you need to have more depth. Your stones and moves must have more meaning. You can't just block without thinking. You can't just invade or attach without thinking about the consequences or the follow-up ideas from both players. If you want to climb faster than how all these 2Qs fell against me, you know what to do. subscribe, play more, have fun, and study hard. Go is a game of life, and every rank you improve, not only do you get better at Go, you'll also get better at knowing yourself and your mind. I'll see you all in the next video.